Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Dorothy here from the CCMA. You're very welcome to our third and final in our series of webinars with Dr. Yumei Tan from Vhi Healthcare. And we were just agreeing beforehand that Dr. May said I'd go ahead and call her May, so we'll go ahead and do that. And this is the third, as I say, in the series, and we've talked about physical well-being, we've talked about nutritional well-being, and today we're talking about emotional well-being, which I think is something we all probably need, and I think we can all take a lot away from today's webinar. Just the normal housekeeping to welcome Cormac, who's supporting us today from WSI.
Thanks,
and to Cormac's growing a beard. My hair's gone too long, so I have to start putting it up. So we're really getting through this crisis.
We'll have to start going back to normal soon, Dorothy, I think, right?
just about at this stage. But just to say welcome to you all. If you can give me the normal thumbs up just to let me know you can hear and see us okay, I'd really appreciate that. And obviously, I think for this one today particularly, we want to make it as interactive as possible. So please do put through any questions that you may have. And as always, we're recording it. Thanks, Sean, for the thumbs up. We're recording the webinar. And I really actually think now this suite of 3 webinars, which we have after today, is a very valuable resource for companies to use as a form of training, development, and just even as a support. The series of 3, all of which are no longer than half an hour, are a valuable resource that hopefully you can all use with your team and with your colleagues and with your family and friends as well. I really think they're valuable. So May, I'm going to hand over to you as always, if that's okay, and I will keep an eye on any questions and come back to you if I have any questions as we go along. Thanks, William.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for spending this afternoon with me. So this is the final series of the third for the wellness perspective. So we talk about emotional well-being and you. Now, if you remember, the first ever webinar that I delivered is on the pillars of wellness. So emotional well-being sits one of the pillars in the wellness aspect of things. Okay, so why is it so important? So emotional well-being plays an important part in our lives. So it allows us to realize potential. So people who are emotionally healthy and well has full control of their thoughts, their feelings, their behaviors. They always feel good about themselves and have a good relationship with others. Okay, so being emotionally well and healthy allows us to cope with life challenges, your changes and your problems, and also bounce back from the setbacks. And obviously, it then continues to improve. So what I'm describing here for part of that I mentioned earlier on, it is actually practically what resilience is all about, okay? So you can cope, you can bounce back, and then you continue to improve. So there are many ways in the sense of how you maintain or improve your emotional health, okay? So the first thing I start with within yourself, within you. So what can you do? Be aware of your emotions, be aware of your reactions, very important. Because notice in what in life that makes you sad, frustrated, angry, okay, try to address or change those things, right? The second one, express your feeling in appropriate ways. So let people close to you know when something is bothering you. Keep your feelings of sadness, okay, or anger inside adds to stress, as you know yourself. So when people say, you know, problem share, problem half, that's what it's all about. So you can reduce that particular stress by actually, you know, trying to express it out. Okay, so it can cause problems, obviously, in your relationship and at your work, etc., if you keep it within it. So people say ticking time bomb. This is what it's all about. So think before you act. Emotions can be so powerful. So give yourself time to think, and then be calm before you say or you do something you might regret. My grandfather always, you know, remind me, your mouth is actually, words are actually mightier than the sword. So once it pierces through somebody's heart, you cannot take it back. So you, whatever reactions or things that you said, you cannot take it back. So that's the reason why that it is really important. Think before you act. So strive for balance. What I mean by that is very, very important. You strive in a sense that you find a healthy balance between work and play, and obviously between activities and rest. So make time for things you enjoy. Okay, focus on positive things in your life and live that moment. Guess what? That moment will never come twice. So every single second, every single minute, every single hour, every single day, every single year, live that particular moment and be appreciative and gratitude towards it. So take care of your physical health is the next one. So we already know that, you know, in research point of view, it has shown that research studies significant link between physical well-being and emotional well-being. And remember, it is also another part of that wellness. So connect with others. We human beings are social creatures, okay? We need positive connections with other people. So for example, make a lunch date. Now, I'm not asking you to kind of like, you know, go against the rule of the social distancing, etc., but follow as the guideline comes in, okay? But make a lunch date even through Zoom, through your webinar, in a sense of, you know, call people up, say hello, ask how they are, a simple text. Okay, join a group, say hi to strangers. I say hi to a lot of people, even though that, you know, I don't know them. You know, I usually be a smile or be, you know, be a grin or anything like that. So in a sense, connect with others. So the positivity actually comes in when you start connecting with others. Okay, find a purpose or meaning for your life, feel it, okay, and focus on the goal. So it could be your work, it could be your relationship, it could be your family, it could be your children, it could be anything else. But make sure you find that purpose, because we need a purpose to live. Okay, so same as that you're hungry, you get food, that is a purpose. Okay, stay positive. So focus on the good things in your life. Forgive yourself for making mistakes. We are human beings, we make mistakes. But the most important thing is that how we move on from there. And if other people are making mistakes, forgive them. Spend time with healthy, positive people. Okay? Be grateful of who you are, what you have, what you will receive. And this is really important because it teaches you how to be empathy towards other things and other people. Okay. Then the next one is that I'm going to talk about is like do things for others. Early on, I say this briefly to Cormac and Dorothy. I like to give. I'm a giver because giving is better. The effect of making somebody happy makes you happier. Okay, when you give something, you know that you fulfill somebody's needs. Okay, so giving is a good way. Do charity, do volunteer work. This is what I do for you know over the weekend. Take inventory of your strengths, then apply them in new ways in daily life. So for example, if you're brave, okay, try something that makes you try something that makes you. So for example, like I previously, you know, not really good in public speaking. So I said, right, I'm actually brave. Now I'm going to do something that is actually going to make me nervous. So try that. Okay, take your strength and apply it in a way where you want to you know to improve. Okay, savor the pleasure, praise yourself, be happy when you accomplish something, celebrate, reminisce the good times. These are all really important because it gives you a good feel effect of your own individual health. Right. So what are the things in a sense that you know from your perspective? The last one I talk about is manage stress. So how do you manage stress? So manage stress in a sense of like you really learn some relaxation methods. So there are a couple here, and they are actually evidence-based and also research studies and show that how it actually benefit people. So one of them I'm going to talk about. Now, I'm not a guru in mindfulness. I don't do mindfulness, no meditation, but I'll share with you about reflection. Just going to give you a little bit of background on mindfulness. So it's the practice of purposely focus your attention, the present moment, okay, that particular time, and accepting it without any judgment. So the key element here is that to relieve the stress reduction, and also it makes people happy. Okay, being mindful makes it easier to savor the pleasures in life as they occur, helps you become fully engaged in activities, and creates greater capacity, okay, to deal with adverse events. So by focusing on here and now, many people who practice mindfulness find that they are less likely to get caught up in worries about the future or regrets over the past. So remember I said forgive and moved on. And also less preoccupied with concerns about success and their self-esteem, because that they are literally ready, they can solve problems easier, and that's one, and they are better able to form a deep connections with others. The main important thing is that they form deep connections with themselves, hence leading to forming deep connections with other people. Okay, so there are many studies, research studies that say mindfulness can impact our hearts, your brains, your immune system, really important, particularly when we're dealing with pandemic here, and also more. Okay, so medical research in a mindfulness-based stress reduction studies, okay, it has proven to decrease stress, hence not surprisingly decrease your depressive symptoms, hence eliminate depression, enhance ability to deal with illness. I'm talking about chronic diseases, and also it facilitate recovery in every single way. Okay, so that is in mindfulness. Now, so in reflection perspective, okay, so important aspect of life, this is what I do, is reflection. I can't do mindfulness because that my brain goes like 300 miles an hour. Okay, so the researchers in this area will be like people like Sean and Glade. So reflection can improve understanding of the context you work in your life. It transforms your perspectives and deepen understanding and help you reappreciate the job you do, your life, or the situation that you're in. It also helps in strengthen the relationship, okay, whether it's at home or with your colleagues or with your peers or with your employers. And also, we won't grow from our experiences if we do not understand them. So making changes based on what we've learned. So we aren't able to predict outcomes or solve problems effectively if we do not expand our understanding of our own experience. So this is based on what Sean described that in the 1983, okay? So reflection is based on Gibbs Model. So it's very simple. You describe your feelings, you evaluate your analysis, your conclusion, and your action plan. So this is what I do in the sense of like, I'm going to give you one example how I battle this in the sense of like COVID-19 situation, okay? So you can use this model in life, you can use this model in work, and majority of the time I use it is both, because it covers the whole entirety of what you do, and it actually it works in every single situation that you come across. So description point of view. So what is something significant that has happened since your last reflection? So we take the pandemic COVID-19 for instance, okay? Who was involved? Very simple. Each individual of everybody that in the world, okay? What happened specifically? You have this SARS-CoV-2 virus that comes in, and then it causes spreading, and from spreading again, obviously it causes fatality. Okay, then what happened? It causes the whole entire nations, whether in Europe or in America, a whole complete shutdown. Okay, people went into what you call in isolation mode, and also there's an economic impact on top of that. That's loads to describe there. Okay, then what were the outcomes? The outcomes is obviously now we all work from home. You know, kids can't go to school, so you write down all the outcomes that comes into it. What was I thinking and feeling while this was happening? Now, majority of us will feel scared because we do not know the entity of the whole entirety of the story or what is going to happen, okay? But what were you thinking? So now it's deep down inside, delve into what actually how you feel. So a lot of us will feel anxious, scared, probably stressed, okay? A lot of things going on in the back of the mind. What is the kids going to do if my kids are going through, you know, like leaving cert, etc.? What are they going to do? What about school? So there's a lot of kind of emotion that's happening on the same time. Okay, so express it. It's okay to feel angry. It's okay to feel upset. It's okay to feel stressed because it's a nature part of who we are. Okay, so what are the good things about the experience? I do have a whole list of good things experience. I don't previously get to spend a lot of time with my kids now. I do now. Do they drive me mad? Of course I do. But on the same time as well, if you actually have the whole routine out to them, it actually doesn't impact you what you do. Okay, so and also things that, for example, good things. I would never get to hear my two kids talking during bedtime. They talk for 2 hours, which I could hear them. Gone back ages ago, you know, they'd gone to bed by 7:30, they were tired. There's none of those interactions going on. So there are a lot of good things. I live that moment because it's small little things that makes me smile, and that makes me smile. Okay, you bind with, or you bond more with your kids, or you bond more with the other half, or your parents, and obviously for people who are actually living far away, and so do you can't see your folks during the lockdown period, you feel that, oh my God, I missed them. So it kind of bring you back your whole gratitude, okay, of who you are, and enjoy that in that sense, because this would not continue. Okay, so what are the bad things happen about the experience? Bad things for me, I love going window shopping, physical, going to the shop. Now I can't do that. So what is my backup? Doing online. So all those kind of things that you write it down and then see whether was there any way out to it. So what other resources can I include in the full analysis of the situation? You hear through the media, okay? Can you hear me? You hear through the media, and you get all the analysis through the media. You hear through also the news, what's going to happen. You kind of know that, you know, who are the people involved, etc. You follow what the law has implied in this case, etc. Okay. Now, if I've engaged, see, what have I learned? You will learn that, as a matter of fact, that, you know, there are certain things you cannot control. Okay, so you also learn that, you know, you take it each day at a time, but enjoy that particular moment that is totally different from what you do previously. Okay, so how could I respond during similar experience in the future? You've done this before. As I say, that is an experience that people have gone through. Once they experience certain things, the stress level automatically comes down because you learn how to deal with it. Okay, so in the future, if there's a similar experience happening, how do you think I'd be able to cope or deal with it? Of course, we all will, because we've done it. We've done this work from home, right? Okay, so the next thing is that, you know, what else could I have done during the experience? Build that whole entirety, feels that, you know, things that you were missing, things that you did not get time to do before COVID-19 started. Enjoy that now and build on it. Okay, how would I what else can you do in that aspect? So you just literally write down the whole experience aspect of things and then see that you could expand that. So remember I said about resilience, it's all about continue to improve. So understand it helps you kind of decide, understanding makes you see what you cannot see in front of you and helps you plan better. And that is what the whole entire Gibbs model is. I use this in every situation, not just for COVID-19, for how I feel certain things, or if I was doing something, was anything I could change or I could do better. Okay, so that's what reflection is all about. Okay, right, we go into other things to consider. So meditation. So Mark Benioff, and Mark Benioff is actually the CEO and the founder of Salesforce. So he used meditation as part of this. And meditation is important. It's taking your moment of time to kind of find that peace within you. Okay, other things that you can consider is spending time with nature. So Georgia O'Keeffe, she's actually an American artist, so she spent a lot of time drawing about nature, and that's how you find yourself, you know, calming effect. Okay, and how you find who you are and where you're at that particular moment. Okay, and exercise. So I do not need to go through this because my first webinar actually talks about physical health. So Ryan Holmes, which is the CEO of the HotSuite, is actually an IT company. So he finds that, you know, exercise is really, really important. So we all know already, researchers have long found mental and physical health benefits to exercise. Okay, taking time away from your daily routine is extremely hard. So now you do have time to do so by filling in those with a smaller exercise here and there. And remember, I said previously, you need to have a duration of 10 minutes and more to get that benefit of exercise. So you schedule exercise at a regular period to stick with it until that it becomes a habit. So that's the whole important of not falling out, your habit comes in, and it takes some time. So 6 weeks, in fact, is too short. You need to do it longer. Okay, exercise removes you from the physical space, of course, away from your desk area, and you might feel that you're tempted to continue working or checking emails, but you remove you completely. Particularly now that because they're working from home, a lot of people find that it's extremely kind of like tiring sitting in front of the screen. So do something, half an hour, 40 minutes away from a screen, go and do some exercise. Okay, physical movement also increases your endorphins. We know it's a magic drug, it's a happy drug, okay, that stimulate a positive mood and also facilitate your reflection. So that's what it does in the whole entire area. All right, I'm going to close this with Steve Jobs' famous quote, my favorite things in life, okay, don't cost any money. It is really clear that the most precious resource we all have is time. So I need you to take this time, which is a precious resources, okay, to go and think, how can you fill your time with something really important for you? Because you have to be emotionally well to do so before you can be emotionally well or capable of doing something else better. Okay, understand you, feel that time, feel that moment, feel the importance that you need to do, okay, before you moved on. Because without knowing what's going to happen, or without knowing yourself first, you cannot actually target or have an action that you can see and or give you a much better potential or solution. Okay, right, thank you very much for your time with me. So hopefully that it does help to answer certain questions, or to help people to kind of see where they need to go at the end of this. So if anything else that who wants to ask a question, please feel free to do so.
Yeah, I'll kick off maybe with a couple of questions. I think the first one is, a lot of people now are saying, they're sort of zoomed out, even, not necessarily work Zoom, but even social Zooms. So how do you keep up I suppose, the connection with people? I know the restrictions are slowly being lifted, but how do you continue to do that, even though some of the ways we've had to do it in the last couple of months have been, people are just getting a bit, I suppose, fed up with them in some respects?
Dorothy, this is funny. Have you watched a movie with somebody on the same time?
No, I haven't done that.
Okay. So for example, so if you're like, I do kind of movie times with my dad, when I was younger. So when I first came over, I felt that I missed those times. So now physically you cannot go to the cinema, so take that out of the equation. But because I live in a different country to my parents, right? So what I did was you call them up or through WhatsApp or whatever. I said, Dad, okay, I'm going to pick a movie and you're going to physically watch this with me. So we both have Netflix. I would say like we're going to watch a Kung Fu movie. My dad doesn't actually have an understanding of English. He doesn't speak English very, very well. So I watch, Mandarin or Cantonese movies with him. So I'll pick a movie, and and I say, look, I send him I just tell him what it is, and my mom will pull it up on Netflix, and exactly on that time strike, we both press play button, and you can chit chat in between on your phone. Now I have two, obviously I use my iPad to watch it, so you can then talk in between. And obviously a lot of us will never actually have a conversation during the movie is on anyway. But after the end of the conversation, it's the same as that you get out from the cinema, you say, what do you think about the movie? I think they could do better. So you have the same conversation. So you have not lost that touch. Bear in mind that, technology has made us closer. I'm talking about distance closer, because that, you can see somebody over the camera. Previously that you have to travel thousands of miles. So for me, it's like 6,500 miles before I can see my folks. But now that, through Skype or through WhatsApp or through whatever platform that you use, they're just on the screen with you. You just see them. It's not physical see, but you're still seeing them. Okay. So same as like you have not have a coffee with your colleagues or with your friends. Do the same thing. My suggestion will be pick up the phone, get a coffee, sit down there and have a conversation. It's physically thinking that you are actually sitting in front of somebody, drinking coffee, but in fact you're in a two different locations. Okay, so technology has made us actually closer in a different way, and bear in mind, it also make us actually drifted apart. I do not know whether you guys notice this. You think that a lot of people having a pandemic situation, is a bad thing. For me, I really realize a lot of things. Gratitude is one of the things I practice a lot, because that the first gratitude I would have is that what is the most important thing? People say that I want to be this in the next 5 years, I want to go traveling all the world. But you have to remember, the first gratitude is that feeling waking up every morning and say to yourself, oh my God, I'm alive. That is the first gratitude I would have about being alive. Okay, because that if I want to do being achieving in my work, or if I want to travel all around the world, if I don't have that gratitude of being alive, I know that my whatever goal I set is not going to come true. Okay, so it's the same as that, previously we have so much going on with your life. We don't take time for us. We don't take time for other people. How often that you call up your friends and say that, how are you? And bear in mind that majority of the times that when you get a phone call is somebody talking about certain things, unless they are close friends of yours that will talk any single topic with you. We don't do much of those. We don't even do much of those with our own family, put it that way. Because a lot of times now, before the situation kicks in, you will know everywhere you see in the media, what do? They have a phone in front. Okay, two couples sitting in a restaurant, each of them having a phone in front of them, and they're not talking to each other. But this moment makes you realize that there's plenty out there, there's plenty to live for. Okay, so you need to cherish that, because that at the end of the day, you have so much digital, now you have so much impact, Now you realize that you're digitally out. So you're missing those moments of the real connection. Okay. So that's what I'm saying, that, certain things happen for a good reason. Certain things like these happen to make people realize that, we need that human touch. We need that connection. That connection is not just through digital or just on a screen all the time. But it makes us realize that we now miss the going out lunches, with your friends, the giggle in the pantry or giggle in the coffee dock, and people talk about certain topics about fashion or about somebody else, and you have that chit chat is gone, because you don't do that. You don't just call somebody up for a normal chit chat. Very rarely, but now we're doing it more often. Okay, so that would be my suggestion in a sense.
And another question then, for people who are managing teams, and you talked there about the Gibbs model, how could you use something like that in like a team environment or a team sort of exercise? Because I know a lot of people now are obviously using, Zoom, GoToWebinar to touch base with their teams either once a day, once a week, or whatever, to keep people engaged. So how could you use something like that and at the same time keep it a little bit fun? Because I presume you don't want to get too personal with people that, maybe suffering stress or whatever.
Yeah, so the model works in every single way, but mainly is about trying to improve yourself. So if there is something fun in that sense, the model is there to share with other people about the fun experience side. So that's not really so much of the reflection aspect. Reflection is mainly based on, how do you improve better by knowing what's going on within you and the environment and the factors around it first. Okay, so if you say about a problem of within a team that a team have, this is a good model to start off with, Dorothy. But if you're then the giggle bit starts is when you all actually manage to solve it and see that, oh my God, now I see that we could improve that on this marketing, that marketing, or that marketing. And then that giggle comes in, where then you throw in that well done, whoever that picks up in this one. So what I mean is that, the Gibbs model reflection is mainly for how you solve that particular problem and overcome your inner feelings, whether it's a group or whether it is, yourself. But mainly I use it for myself first, because that you deal within yourself, then you understand it, then you're dealing within the groups. Okay, so then it's very difficult to share fun stuff through Gibbs model, because that when you have something fun, you just share it. You can't go through the question that I asked, what have something significant happened, because having fun in that sense is not really something significant happened. This is what we wanted all the time, but who was involved? So all versus, what happened specifically. So those questions are there to guide you to kind of deal with with the problems, and you will see the solutions clearer. Okay, so I suppose that, if somebody is going to use this Gibbs model of reflection, is mainly on what kind of things are they encountering on that particular moment. Okay, and what else can you do? And things you can control or you can change it there, and the model will make you see it. But things you cannot control, okay, that's totally out from your capacity. For example, natural disaster like COVID-19, etc. No point worrying about them and go into a deep down full analysis, but analysis point of view, which say that right now I'm on isolation, I'm on lockdown, I'm on this and I'm on that. What can I do to make it much easier? So same as like you're now working from home, how can I improve the environment of working from home? Set up a proper desk, make sure that I get hydrated, make sure that I still eat normal, make sure that I still do my exercise, make sure that I still check in with my folks. I make sure that all those kind of things in that sense. So things you cannot control, take it out of the equation. But what you can change, that can help you to kind of accept the situation easier.
Okay, great. Conscious of time, we're literally just with 1 minute to go, Dr. May. So I know in terms of people having further questions or maybe wanted to talk to you directly on this, you're available to link in on LinkedIn, or for anybody who's on the call to drop me an email. But I think that was very useful this afternoon. So thank you so much for that. And
no, thank you.
We'll put your slides up, and we'll put the recording of the call up, and hopefully they'll be up there later today, just to let everybody know. And just a couple of bits housekeeping. just to remind, in the context of, you were talking about reflection and mindfulness, that our very first webinar in the series of CCMA Community Chats was actually a mindfulness meditation, and we were talking about it just before we came on the call. So just to let people know that that's there. And for any of our webinars, you can either go into the to access the recordings, you can either go into the blog where we have the listing of all of them, or if you just go onto our events page and down past upcoming events to past events, and you'll see all of the recordings and the presentations available there. And the last thing to say is we are undertaking a survey of all of our members on working from home policies, procedures for going back. So anybody on the call that hasn't been in touch with me about that, I sent an email on it yesterday, but if you want to participate in the survey, if you could drop me an email to let me know who the point of contact will be for the research company to send the research link to. But Dr. May, thanks once again. It's been a really enjoyable series. I've certainly taken a lot from it, and hopefully a lot of people on the call, on the webinar, will go back and reflect and look at the 3 ones in the series that we've had to date. So thanks as always.
Thank you very much. Have a good afternoon, guys. Take it easy. Okay?
You too. Take care. See you. Bye-bye. Thanks, Cormac. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks, everybody. Bye.